Hello, my name is Greg Giffois.
And I'm Marty McConnell. And we're so excited to share with you some information about the Chicago Poetry Center's Critical Conversations at Work Anti-Racism program.
Marty and I co-developed this process that uses poetry as a springboard for discussions around race and how it shapes our experiences of our world, both within and outside the realm of work, without requiring those directly and violently affected by racism to retell their stories of resilience or trauma in order for us to get things started.
Through these critical conversations, people practice approaching potentially difficult topics, establish a shared set of terms and language, discuss aspects of race and racism through the lens of lived human experience expressed through poetry, and engage in anti-oppressive practices relevant to our working lives. Critical Conversations puts the I in DEI, offering a powerful way to build a sense of belonging and inclusion within the workplace.
Each session is led by two trained racially diverse facilitators and includes recording of the poets sharing their work, as well as time for individual reflection, paired storytelling, and group discussion.
In this video, we'll walk you through the core aspects of the Critical Conversations process and give you a chance to see the practice in action.
We begin each session with land and labor acknowledgements, a warmer poem to set the stage, agreements for our time together, and a round of personal introductions.
We want to acknowledge up front that racism, which is the broad focus for today's session, is multifaceted and complex and woven into the very fabric of this country. And we also know that poetry gives us access to parts of the lives of people who are like us or unlike us, and that in talking about those poems, using shared vocabulary that leads us further into a reflection on anti-racism, we can reflect deeply on the experiences of the writer that the writer describes, as well as how those resonate or don't resonate with our own lived experiences. In 90-minute sessions, we listen to and discuss as a group one poem related to the session topic. In 2-hour sessions, we're able to delve into two poems that illuminate the topic from different perspectives. Before we do this, we review some key terminology. This includes a review of terms such as emotional labor, privilege, implicit bias, and others that allow these conversations to happen using a common language.
After discussing the poems, we offer the participants a story prompt that allows them to reflect more deeply on the way that the session topic has shown up in their lives. Participants move into pairs where they share their stories privately, choosing what kind of story and how much to share based on their personal comfort level. After the breakouts, we come together to reflect as a group on what was shared and how folks are feeling after sharing their story and hearing from their partner.
Next, participants reflect individually on the topic's resonance in their lives and workplaces through a series of guided writing prompts. After that writing, we come back together to reflect and share out anything folks feel they want to speak into the group.
I'm definitely feeling a little bit of that like discomfort after saying this thing out loud that I don't often think about, but when I do think about it, I feel it very like viscerally.
For our final activity, we reflect as a group on 5 key anti-oppressive practices we've engaged with through the session: resisting urgency, embodied vulnerability, honoring multiplicity, setting aside hierarchy, and allowing discomfort. We discuss ways that these could be integrated into participants' work lives in ways large and small, and how they might create opportunities for people to engage in these practices where they work.
I was looking at embodied vulnerability and thinking that is the polar opposite of the environment that I work in. But if I was willing to allow myself to be vulnerable in a way and acknowledge like, oh, I may have misstepped when I said that, that might be something that if I was super courageous every now and then, that might have a helpful impact.
I love that leading by example, and by stepping into that vulnerability.
Thank you for your interest in Critical Conversations.
To find out more, you can visit www.poetrycenter.org or email info@poetrycenter.org.